When you don't go to Geico.com, car insurance can be hard. Like early 90s heavy metal hard.
I'm yelling and screaming and I'm loud. Roar!
Geico makes it easy. You can review and update your policy or report a claim on Geico.com or the Geico mobile app. Because shouldn't we all have a little less stress in our lives?
I'm not even upset about anything!
From the front lines.
It's not gonna work, man.
From the tailgates. Representing KGYR and its stakeholders. We are the Forum for the Fans, the Bleed Blue Show. Flying solo, here's your host, Steve.
We are the Forum for the Fans, the Bleed Blue Show. BleedBlueShow.com is the website and audio archived on iTunes, Podcast Republic, your TuneIn, and your Stitcher apps. This is the Bluesday recap, and we are going to be joined a little bit later with New York Yankees talk. I'm going to get a little bit of perspective on the new World Series champion, Chicago Cubs. And I can't believe I'm actually saying that once again on air. Once again, I'll say that again. The World Series champions, Chicago Cubs. Congratulations to them, and also congratulations to the Cleveland Indians. But we'll get to that a little bit further. I mean, it's a lot of things going on in sports. We could go from all the team sports. We could talk NFL, and of course, Major League Baseball has now finally hit the off season. NBA is underway. NHL's alive and well. And if you're already a stakeholder to this podcast, as you already know how we roll, we follow four teams in particular, although we cover all sports. The Giants for the NFL, that's our home team. We have the New York Rangers for the NHL, Yankees for baseball, and of course the Knicks for the NBA. Like I said, real quick, on Tuesday night, so you get the Rink podcast as well as the Knickerbocker Avenue Fan Forum on Wednesdays, as well as our Giant shows Saturdays and Sundays. So check those episodes out on bleedblueshow.com/podcast. All the audio archived as well on the website if you want to stream right from the web. But those are the team sports. You know, we got college football, you got teams. It was kind of a snooze fest for the most part. All the teams dominated their opponents, and I'll get to that in a second. I definitely wanted to dwell on a non-team sport because we are boxing fans as well. We love boxing on the Bleed Blue Show. We're just fans in general of the sport. And over the weekend, watching the Jesse Vargas Manny Pacquiao fight, it was a decent fight. And I wanted to touch on that a little bit of what we're seeing in the world of boxing when we had the chance and when big fights or good fights arrive. I definitely wanted to discuss those. And from what I saw from on Saturday night, Pacquiao winning the fight, going the distance, winning out of the three judges, winning two of the judges' scorecards. Pretty much the main difference for what I saw was the second round knockdown of Vargas, knocking him down to the canvas, and people wants to say, well, they want to see Manny Pacquiao still got it. Does he still got it? And for a guy who's in his upper 30s, he's been pretty decent shape, and he's always worked with Freddie Roach to be in top superior shape. I'm not saying his reputation took a little bit of a hit of what happened in the big mega fight a couple years ago. Was it even last year? It may have been last year. Whatever it was, last year, the big fight with Mayweather. And then that people are trying to sell this hype of when they're going to actually see this fight again. If they want to see a part two. I'm at a point I don't even care as far as if they're even wanting to entertain that. And if people are willing to pay the money to, even be there, let alone order it on pay-per-view. But in the fight itself, I mean, you saw a decent fight. Jesse Vargas is a guy who has a solid right hand, and he's really devastating with that punch. And Pacquiao is one of those boxers. Is good. He knows how to push the buttons, meaning he knows how to create space, inch his way to the opponent's inside, and plus he's a southpaw boxer, and it gives him great leverage. He utilizes his punches, and he has good combinations too. and he keeps them honest. So on a fight like that, with Pacquiao going the distance, it was a good fight. If people haven't had the opportunity to go watch it, definitely check it out. I think maybe on your DVRs or whatever, and see what we're talking about in the world of boxing. Because the reason why I bring that up to say is this, because in the next couple of weeks, this Saturday, I'm looking forward to this fight as well. Looking forward to the Danny Garcia fight when he takes on Samuel Vargas. I mean, I think Garcia's going to have he should be able to handle his own against Vargas. He should have too many problems in the ring with him. Should be able to should be able to handle his business with Garcia in the way, man. He should be able to hold his own versus him. And Garcia, as a boxer, I actually like Garcia, and I like the way he fights. Let's see him get on track and see what he's going to be able to do in the ring, because the week after that you have the big fight as well, and that's going to be one. That's the Vegas fight. That's the Sergey Kovalev versus Andre Ward. And I'm a big Andre Ward fan. I would love to see him in the ring. And whenever he has the opportunity to chance the kids from Oakland, well, he's not a kid at no more. He's in the low 30s now at this point. But to see what he's going to be able to do versus Sergey Kovalev, I think it's November 19th, that fight. And I'm looking forward to that. Really see what they're going to do. Because the only thing I'm really keeping interested in when it comes to the boxing thing, I'm really looking at the light middleweight division as well. That's the people who usually around that 154 range, and all the fun guys are in the welterweight. That's pretty much the division underneath 154, usually between 147. People could go up, go down in weight, whatever you want to look at it, because that's where like I said, with Danny Garcia, he's going to be fighting this weekend against Vargas, and he's the title holder of the WBC. But everybody else is in that range too. You have Keith Thurman. Pacquiao winning the belt against Vargas, getting the WBO title. You have other guys really that's able to compete. You have also Kelly Brook as well in that weight range with the welterweight. But either or, I mean, you talk about a guy like Saul Alvarez, Canelo Alvarez, who's everybody wants him to fight Triple G, who's actually a little bit more bigger, has a little bit more weight on him at in the 160 at the middleweight division. I mean, he pretty much holds half the belts in that ring. I mean, I think he has the WBC, the IBF, the WBH titles, and people want to see Alvarez go up in weight or even come down. But what's the incentive to do that? I mean, you have a lot of those questions. Ursulandi Lara, you got to watch out for guys like him, and then Kukle as well, the guy from the German, the boxer. It's a lot of competition in between that 147 to 154 range. I mean, that's pretty much where the sport of boxing is pretty much have its the main attraction. I mean, you could go up in weight as like light heavyweights. You have your Kovalovs and Adonis Stevenson, and we talked about Deontay Wilder, who's a guy who's a heavyweight. The kid from Alabama, I think he's from Birmingham, Alabama, I believe. But a guy who's undefeated, and they're trying to really build back up that division. It's been really dead for like 20 years or so. I mean, are we going to see a super heavyweight fight with Deontay Wilder? Are we going to see him go against like a guy like Tyson Fury from Great Britain? We got to see some of these things, man. Boxing has really need to take the turn in 2017 because there was too many warm-up fights, all right? Too many guys are just trying to duck each other, play the politics, not really getting in the ring the way I want or I think they should. So the whole point of me bringing up the boxing, I want everybody, you check out the Bleed Blue Show. We talk a little bit of boxing, but check out the Garcia and Vargas fight. And not even if you're not even a fight guy or a fight gal, just if you're on a Saturday night, you happen to be up at night, and take a look and see what you see, man. If in some of these next coming fights before Thanksgiving, especially the Kovalev and Andre Ward fight, that should be a little bit entertaining as well. So on a boxing tip, let me real quick, we move on to college football, and I'm not going to be long with that because with college football, I think it really comes down to Alabama and everybody else. Alabama had probably one of the ugliest wins you're ever going to see. Alabama beating LSU, I think 10-0. I mean, what a snooze fest, man. I mean, we really, I don't know if college football, maybe it's just because it's this season. You had this stretch with the last 3-4 games, and it's just been nothing but blowouts. You had all these good games early on and classics, really. And then you have these situations where everybody are playing bums, I guess warming up towards the conference championships or whatever. The only major players we're really looking at college football. You got Ohio State, Washington, who's playing very well out there in the Pac-12. You got Louisville, who's dominating. But their only blemish is because they lost a classic game versus Clemson. Probably the best game of the college football this year was Louisville-Clemson in Clemson earlier this year. And then, of course, Clemson smacked up around on Syracuse. I watched some of that game on Saturday. And then, of course, the Michigan game, and they destroyed the Terrapins. So it really comes down to those teams that I just mentioned and everybody else in Alabama. It's really hard not to put a case against Alabama because they're so well coached. They're so defensive. Defensively are just a nightmare. I mean, you could go to LSU into Death Valley and pitch a shutout. It's just truly amazing, man. Truly amazing. Just a great program. I don't know. Ohio State took a little bit of a slip or a hit, I guess, losing to Penn State and really pulling their ring in Penn State after all their troubles off the field with all the scandals years ago. It seems like they're finally coming back around their way to Big Ten football that Penn State is accustomed to. And then if you look at the Pac-12, Washington's just blowing through teams, man. Great program that's kind of lost its way as well on a national football tip, and really earning the respect of a lot of the coaches and the voters in the polls. So I think the Washington Huskies are doing their damn thing, man, and it's great to see them actually back in there because for a while that conference was really ran by the Southern California Trojans. Now it gives a little bit of parity in that conference. Oh, yeah, Stanford as well was also dominating that conference as well. So you get to see that. And then it'd be really because I think if I had to pick, Clemson, Michigan. Michigan's played very well. Another program that has been dead in the water, and Jim Harbaugh has come back around to really put them at prominence at very high ranking in the second season. It's pretty impressive, man. Pretty impressive, though. But I don't know if college football is going to ante up as far as expediting the college football system, maybe expand it to the best 8 teams, because this is a dead period for a sport where we thought it was really dead. Really great early on, and now it's become like a snooze fest. And you could really go weeks in between and not really worry about, terrible games. I mean, these games have been bad with college football. So we talked about a little bit of boxing, a little bit of course, college football. And once again, congratulations to the Chicago Cubs. The Chicago Cubs defeating the Cleveland Indians in 7 games, coming back from a 3-1 game deficit. And like I said, myself, if you listen to the Big Blue Roundtable on the weekend, I was happy. I was already out there in Chicago because I went to go watch the Knicks versus Bulls, and it just happened to fall upon that the Chicago Cubs came back from 3-1, and there was a lot of fans at that parade all over the place in Chicago. I had said that on the Big Blue Roundtable episode on Saturday, our preview show versus the Eagles. And Chicago Cubs fans, this is new territory for them, and they were extremely happy. The Chicago Cubs are in place to really make they could go back-to-back. Honestly, they really could go back-to-back. And I think St. Louis, the Cardinals, have a lot to say about that. But I definitely wanted to talk a little bit of World Series as well on here on the recap, trying to get as much sports thoughts within a set amount of time here on the Bleed Blue Show, on our recap show. I got to bring on our guy, New York Yankees Talk, to really fill us in on some of his thoughts and what he believed on the World Series. Kenny, man, I'm glad to have you back and talking World Series baseball. I mean, we're going to talk sports in general for the next X amount of minutes. Sir, what's up, man? How's everything, man?
Doing all right. Tough loss yesterday for our Knicks, but at least we got 1 out of 2 with the Giants.
You know what? Now that you brought that up, real quick, because we just go off the top of the head with this the sports stuff. I'm really shocked that they did come back to lose, and knowing the fact that Gordon Hayward came back in his first game to really stick it to the Knicks. Now, he was a guy when he came out of Butler. I didn't really think his NBA potential was going to reach where it was. But it's really disappointing, kid, is the Knicks don't play defense. let's start there. They don't play no defense, and if their offense doesn't show, or it could be really bad, they could get blown out, but they can't stop anybody. They're really, it's kind of like almost they have to outscore you. And what was your thoughts on the Knicks game, if anything? And we'll talk a little bit of World Series.
So there's a couple things I noticed with the Knicks. You're right about the defense. When Joakim Noah is not in the game, they really don't have an established rim protector. Porzingis wasn't looking great on D yesterday. He got caught mismatches all day, and he really couldn't hang with Rudy Gobert down low when Noah was out of the game. And we didn't get a great performance out of Kyle O'Quinn either. So that was the one thing. The defense. The second thing, though, is that second unit that we have is really weak. Other than Lance Thomas, that second unit has no identity, and it's the team struggles without its starting five in there. You end up with August Kunstins in the game, and Brandon Jennings, who hasn't had a great start. You get Holiday in the game. That unit, it struggles. It's not a solid group of guys. You look back at those Knicks teams that were really good, we'll go back a few years. There's the 2012-13 team that went to the playoffs last year. And that second unit had JR. A lot of the times it had Amari coming off the bench. There are a couple of key pieces that I think the Knicks are missing on that second unit that are.
They also had savvy veterans too on that 54 win team.
They had Chauncey Billups.
Right? Kurt Thomas and Jason Kidd, Rasheed Wallace, correct.
They had Jason Kidd, exactly. Yeah, it was a solid group of guys that could fill in when the starters were on the bench.
And the great Chris Copeland. And
Steve Novak coming off the bench.
Steve Novak, your sniper, in the corner. Yeah, but then when he gets to the playoffs, he could have played like a defense, though. He got torched.
Remember when he learned to dribble? He used to just be a spot-up shooter, but then at one point in the game, he actually dribbled the ball and then shot, and that was a big deal for him. That was
he might be on that Utah team. I think he's on Utah now.
He was on Utah. I'm not sure if he still is.
Oh, okay. I can't remember. I know he's been bouncing around, though. That's none of the point. But I get your point.
He's on the Bucks right now. He's on the Bucks.
Is he? Okay. Yeah, he's a Wisconsin guy anyway. He went to Marquette.
But he's only playing 4 minutes a game, so.
Okay. Yeah.
Not a big player. He was a key part of that team with the Knicks. I don't know.
Absolutely. He's one-dimensional. I mean, once NBA figures you out, it's really hard to get minutes. You can't play a little bit like a defense or create your own shot, which he could do both. So, great shooter. But outside of that, it kind of almost a damn near liability getting on the court if you can't, play defense, create your own shot.
I think he benefits from having. Oh, we're going a little off topic here, but Steve Novak benefits a lot from having a superstar scorer on his team, like the Knicks had with Melo that year. I think Melo that year was a scoring champion, averaging like 30.
And he had great ball movement. That team knew how to pass. That team knew how to pass.
Yeah, but when Melo would drive, he'd always draw a double team, and they'd leave Steve Novak open in the corner just constantly. When with Utah, they could just put a body on him the whole time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get you on that. But you bet the Knicks, I was at the game in Chicago and just watching. They came on fire, just getting off to a great lead and kind of held on. They got off to a good lead. We knew they were going to lose the lead like they did in the second quarter, and they were in a big hole. They were just able to stop Chicago runs and really hold on and really score a lot of points. And that's kind of what I think that's the theme we're going to see with the Knicks. Kind of like I don't know if Hornacek prefers that. He doesn't mind scoring the ball, but I think they're not defensive oriented. I mean, look at all the games they played this far. I think they gave up 100 in every one of them. It seemed like it. Without looking,
they're not playing good D right now.
Oh no! They don't have, but that was expected. When Knickerbocker Avenue and all the stakeholders, we had that discussion in the summer. We're just not going to see it. It is what it is. You have all these NBA players, with reputations, But collectively, are you going to buy into a defensive mindset? No, we're not going to do that. So that's not going to be our identity.
Yeah, I feel you there.
Yeah. Can I ask you a question, sir?
Yeah.
What was your thoughts? I'm trying to go back. Game 7.
Game 7.
Actually, after Chicago, the Cubs tying the World Series at 3 apiece. What was your thoughts? Well, I mean, just take us how you were watching this game. How excited were you as a baseball fan? The way that developed with Chicago going up, and then Madden pulling Hendricks. I think kind of did it prematurely though. What was all everything? The baseball moves, the moment.
All right.
I just want to just go and speak to that.
I'll take you through it.
Sure.
Going into the game, I was rooting for the Cubs. I said, all right, these guys waited long enough. See if we can get a Cubs win one game. All they do is win one game. And right off the bat, Kluber's not looking good. Gives up a couple runs early. Cubs take the lead. It's looking good. Hendricks is looking good. And then Joe Madden decides to yank him after 4. Giving up 1 run. Cubs have the 2-1 lead. And I think that was a mistake. I think Joe Madden was trying to put his mark on the game, get a lot of positive commentary on him after the game, hoping, Joe Madden's so great, he knew what to do with his pitchers. I think it was a mistake. He should have left him in. He was dealing. That's what he's done all year with these guys. And then bring in Lester after 6 and let him close it out. That's not what he did. Brought in Lester after 4. I think he even pulled Lester too soon. I think he mismanaged Chapman. Chapman was tired. He pitched 3 innings earlier in that series. That's not something he does very often. I don't think he's ever done that. Chapman was also tired. I think the way he managed the pitching in that game was not good. If they lost that game, he would have been to blame, 100%. The real person to blame is our old friend Andrew Miller, who's been absolutely dominant the entire postseason. But he did not look good in Game 7. Maybe, I don't know if he was just tired or if the nerves got to him, or something. But they were hitting him hard. They knocked him. I think they knocked him around for 2 runs. 2 runs, was it? Which is, I don't know. We hadn't done that in a while. It's not something we were used to.
Can you give him a pass? Or would fans give him a pass?
Oh, yeah, I give him a pass. I mean, he's still one of the top relievers in the league. They all have that out.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's ever been on a stage this big. I think that has something to do with it. His slider just is hanging there.
Yeah.
But I said before that I was rooting for the Cubs going in. When Rajai Davis took Chapman deep, I was a Cleveland Indians fan. So I wanted to see them come back from that, and I wanted to see them finish off that comeback.
How resilient was that?
That was
how
crazy.
resilient for the Cubs they even coming back, even after the rain delay in the extra inning in the 10th. Like, I mean, just I couldn't even. I would. It took a lot of guts to really deep down and just fight that off, especially the way they did, because especially all they had, because they have a lot of intangibles or had a lot of intangibles to go through, especially with that curse stuff, you know?
I feel like this is a game that the Yankees would have lost. They were the Cubs, you know, like had a nice big lead.
Which Yankees? This Yankees, or are we talking
this current Yankees? The current Yankees.
Oh, this current.
You know, served up a big home run in like the 8th inning, and then just lost in extras. Like never.
Well, I don't know. Well, I don't know, because it depends, because our bullpen. Oh, well, if you look at it like that, then yeah. I mean, if you're talking about bringing in, you know, our bullpen, it was intact.
If we had
talking about before the trade. Oh, okay.
Well, I don't know. I'm just saying in general. It's just, I'm impressed the Cubs were able to come back and win that game after blowing the lead. I think that's what I was saying.
Yeah.
I think I heard in a couple of interviews, players attributed a pep talk given by Jason Hayward during the rain delay. As like a motivating factor to come back, and that's surprising. I for someone who's as mediocre as Hayward has been all year, I'm surprised he's he's a leader in that clubhouse. Just given everyone else they have, maybe as a veteran, as someone who has been good in the past, players respect him.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm surprised that they gave him that opportunity to speak. I feel like it would be more of a floor for Rizzo or Zobrist to step up and talk to the team. But, hey, it worked out.
And what about Zobrist, that big hit down the third base line, man?
That won the MVP. That won the MVP hands down. I still think that Rizzo deserved the MVP. He had 360 with, I think, 4 RBIs in the World Series. That's big time. But I guess Zobrist, I think he hit over 300, and he had that hit. So I'm not complaining.
Yeah. As far as the Cleveland thing, I mean, you think the Cleveland Indians? I mean, I'm trying, forecasting it because of their. I thought they had a tremendous postseason. We talked about that last week. Next year is probably something to build upon. I think also. Let me also say this real quick about Francona, meaning you think he wanted to beat Epstein so bad, because it was right there for him.
I don't think he had anything against Theo Epstein. I think Theo was gone by the time he left. Mm-hmm. By the time he left Boston, right?
No.
What was Theo Epstein? What was Theo Epstein's last year in Boston?
He was there They were there. He was there when Francona had those first couple.
I know that. I know Theo was the one who got them the World Series in 2004, but was he still there in 2012?
Yeah, but he may have been there at that time. But I'm saying they were kind of like the general manager, president to the manager at that time. They were responsible for the first two.
I get that. But I don't think there's any animosity between the two of them.
No, there's no animosity. But there's always that. Sometimes, especially Northeast sports, as you already know, they look at, a lot of the fans, they do look at that. Can I win a ring without you? Can I, like Pippen, or Jordan almost? But that's more on the court. But this is more manager, executive, kind of like almost like.
I know. I see what you're saying now. I don't think there was anything there. I'm impressed that Epstein was able to, break 2 curses in 12 years, right?
Oh my God!
He orchestrated both.
He's executive of the century. He might be executive of the millennium or the lifetime. If you could do that, you could pull that off. Who's a better executive in sports? I can't name one. Can you? Any sport.
Better executive in sports.
What he did to those 2 franchises, especially the state of those franchises, it's not because of the teams that he turned around. It's really about who in their history and their reputation of why he turned around in a matter of and quickly too. It's not like he was there 15 years at each spot. He did it literally.
The boss made some pretty good moves back in the 80s with the Yanks, the 70s. George Steinbrenner. I mean, I don't know. He wasn't a GM, but I feel like he was really running that team. So those teams.
But nobody looked at the Yankees as losers. Like Boston was considered losers, and the Chicago Cubs.
The Yankees were pretty bad. But they won so many World Series up until that point. Even though they did have a little bad stretch. They were really bad.
They really were. They were. But they were
50s.
winners. They haven't. It's not like they hadn't won since 1882 though. That's the diamond. Those other franchises were running with. Yeah, I can't think of any executive who took on that type of weight or responsibility and really pulled it off real quickly like they did. I can't. I can't remember who was the Florida Marlins. Remember the Marlins won in '97
when they won in their second year back in '97, right?
They came in the league in '93 or '94.
They came in '96. They were part of the '96 expansion and they won in '97, which is crazy.
I thought they were there before. Maybe I'm wrong. I thought they came in around '93, '94 because I know they were awarded.
I think it was the '96
Colorado
expansion.
I know. I thought Colorado and them were awarded franchises back in 91, 92. Maybe you're right. I don't recall exactly, but they really won real quickly. They really won real
No,
quickly.
you're right. That 93 season was the first year of the Florida Marlins, but then 94 was the strike year.
Strike. Oh yeah.
So they
strike
played
on top of it.
93, 5, 6. They won in their fourth year, really.
They won in 97. I know they beat Cleveland. I think was it Cleveland? Was it Cleveland?
They won. Yeah, they beat Cleveland in 97 on that walk-off.
I can't remember the general manager who was on that team. I mean, I'm looking. I don't know. That's really relatively quick to win a championship that quick and like literally under 5 years.
That was more the talent I think they had.
Oh yeah, I know. I mean, it is what it
right?
is.
They had a lot of talent.
Yeah.
Whatever.
But Chicago Cubs though. Let's look at it in the big picture. They're coming back next year. They're going to repeat. It's too early to tell, or not. Or maybe I'll phrase it like this: what's their chances of repeating? I mean, I think they're in a competitive national league that's going to really give them a run. But since they already proved that curses really don't exist, or maybe it does, what do you put on the chances of them repeating? Knowing that you probably have a real rivalry now with that Cardinals stuff. The Cardinals and Cubs now, huh?
Oh yeah. Well, I think it depends if they can fortify their bullpen a little bit. I think if they retain Chapman and add another piece, it'll be an absolute force, along with that starting rotation of Arrieta, Hendricks, Lester, Lackey. Their bullpen is the weak spot. I don't know if they plan on developing guys like Carl Edwards Jr. And Strope. I feel like if they get a little more out of these guys, Travis Wood, if they get a little more out of them, I think the bullpen can improve. But that is definitely the spot they're going to be looking to improve in the offseason. I'm sure Chapman's the first piece they're looking at.
How do you feel about the moves Madden made in the game, especially with Chapman? It seemed like Chapman he used Aroldis Chapman like as if it was a video game. Like he didn't have like no energy. Like he didn't. It's like he didn't run out of energy. Like out of juice.
Yeah. You backyard baseball.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was not a big fan. I think he badly misused his pitching staff. I think had they lost, he would have been scapegoat. Yeah. He would have been the one to blame.
He pulled it off, though. I mean,
he did. He got lucky.
It got so bad because of.
He got lucky. He got very lucky that they didn't use that game. They got clutch hitting. It was nothing to do with him. He was not the reason they won that game. They won in spite of him, is what I'll say.
Oh, before I forget, we were on the Big Blue Roundtable this past Saturday. I was on there and I was talking to Chris and the guys on that show with the Giants, right? And I told them, because I was at the game in Chicago, the night, the day of the parade, that night the Knicks and the Bulls were in Chicago.
Yeah.
And I told the guys on that show, and this is where you come in. How are Cub fans? You literally just won a World Series championship. Congratulations. I have nothing but love for that, okay? But how are you already talking smack about Yankee fans? How does that work, Kenny?
Who talks smack? What did they say?
In Cub fans in the stands, because I have my New York Knicks gear, and you'll ask questions. Hey, who's your team? Well, I'm a Yankees fan. I'm a Yankee guy. Oh yeah, you ain't good, and you ain't make the playoffs. Like this is coming from Cub fans. I like shocked.
They're feeling big. They're feeling big. Let them have it. Let them have it for a couple months. So they'll return to futility in a couple of years.
I can understand. If you want to take a jab at all my other teams, if you want to now here's a perfect example. I'm a Rangers fan. You're a Rangers fan. Now, if I was in there with my Rangers, like a Lundqvist a jersey or something, and you are a Blackhawks fan, I can see you immediately. You have your rights to talk smack is all point because you literally came off of 3 Stanley Cups in 6-7 years, and I can see the banner literally right in front of my face. And the Rangers, who haven't won since '94, I could justify that smack talk. Because if you're going to talk smack, it has to have some sort of it has to really have some weight. I can see the Blackhawk fans wanted to talk smack. Cool, no problem. Bull fans want to talk smack to a Knicks fan. I get it. Because the Knicks, we haven't won since the 70s, whatever. Got it. Bulls won six chips, two three-peats, got you. But the Cubs fans, Kenny, Cubs, to a Yankee fan, there's no franchise you should be able to talk smack to. No, the Yankees are pretty much the top of the throne in professional sports with chips. And I just can't. I say, wait till I talk to Kenny about this. I mean, can you imagine that? A Cubs fan in the stands really taking
people like to go with the Yankees. I think they're just jealous. I'll let the Cubs have this one for a few months.
There's not even a connection there. Matter of fact, the only connection is if it wasn't for us giving you, I would say give you, but trading our closer so you could have him or rent him for the summer, you wouldn't even be in this position if it wasn't for us. We are owed a complimentary ring for this.
Oh, a complimentary ring.
Honorary
ring?
Honorary ring, absolutely. I mean, we have, 27 World Series championships. We should have a 27 and a quarter, 27 and a half rings. If it wasn't for, I mean, I'd almost say the same thing for Cleveland too. Almost, if I could make that argument, if it wasn't for us helping you solidify your bullpen. I mean, you should be thanking us because we help you to be in this position. And that's how you connect the dots on those things,
I feel you.
Yeah. Now, let me ask you this. Now, that's the World Series stuff. I know you're Knicks guy. Well, any other sports you've been following? Just any teams, just watching, or you catching up on your golf? What other things in the world of sports you've been following? I talked about boxing, college football.
I do not watch boxing. I watch a little college football, but I've been watching the Giants. I don't know if you were talking about that earlier.
Please do tell, sir. Please do tell. Yeah, big win versus Eagles on.
Big win versus Eagles. I don't think I have. Yep. Was this the first win against Philadelphia in like 3 years?
It feels like.
I want to say.
It feels like forever.
I don't think we've taken.
We don't
Eagles
beat them when
like
they count.
2013.
It feels like.
It was really
like
good.
They had our number.
I think we caught a break with the choices Doug Peterson made in the first half, going for it on fourth down and field goal range twice. They don't
respect our defense. Shout outs to the guys on the stakeholders on the post game roundtable on Sunday, Chris and everybody. Those type of moves, Kenny. Opposing teams don't respect our defense. Especially, it's mind-boggling when some of them try to take chances. I think some of these coordinators and coaches, they still think the Giants are that pathetic defense from last season, 2 seasons ago. The Giants' defense has much improved. It's like a middle-of-the-pack defense.
I think what they did in the offseason, going out, signing some of those bigger names, they went out and signed Le'Veon Vernon. I think they got
Snacks Harrison, Jack Rabbit.
I think they got good performances yesterday from Pierre Paul.
He blocked the field goal too.
He did. I think Landon Collins is stepping up nicely. Eli Apple had a solid return. Injury. I think it was.
He had an interception too.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. Landon Collins did. Yeah. Dude, it was good. Yeah, I think the defense.
I'm looking forward to that next Giants conversation. The next Giants conversation, we were at the preview show on Saturday, and now we're in a situation where our left guard Justin Pugh is out with a sprain to the MCL, and Brett Jones is
4 weeks.
The former offensive player of the year in Canada is filling in at left guard, or maybe he's not. Maybe they're going to shuffle the line. I don't think so, but he's going to fill in that left guard.
Hart?
Bobby Hart is probably going to be back on the right side as well with John Jerry and Richburg in center. How do you feel about the Giants overall? Say what?
Who's filling in for Pugh when he's out?
It's probably going to be Brett Jones. I don't think
Brett Jones filling in the left guard.
Yeah, I think so.
All right, yeah.
I don't see them. I think they created the depth chart so when things like this do occur, it's a plug-in. So you don't have to shuffle guys around like Kaufman like to do. I was kind of against that. It only works when you have linemen who are versatile. See, when he had his middle tenure, when he was running with David Deal, Rich Seibert, and O'Hara, guys like that, O'Hara playing center, Kareem McKenzie at right tackle. You can interchange, especially David Deal. You could throw him any part of the line.
That was a powerful offensive line, though.
That's the difference. And that's how I try to tell Giant fans, let the audience know. You can't just say, well, let's run the ball, let's run the ball. It's more complex than that. To me, we are not that offensive line with those names I just mentioned. Those were better run blockers. They're just stronger, more skilled, more intact. This offensive line that we currently have, they are finesse. You can't power run with these guys. You can situational run with these guys, but I don't think 100%. You can establish the run to really set up play action like they think or a lot of fans want them to. And I think even the coaching staff knows. I think that's the reason why they're in shotgun a lot. And it's not a knock on the it's just the guys who we currently have.
I think that power running game they established back when they were winning Super Bowls was a result of not only that offensive line that you mentioned, but it's also Brandon Jacobs, who was an absolute.
You had in the 07 year, they were a younger line too. They were more younger. They really weren't a good run team in 2011. They were actually last in run when their last recent Super Bowl. So theoretically, you can win a Super Bowl and still be last in running in the league. But so what's your thoughts on the Giants overall? Like, they're 2 games over 500, second place in the NFC East. What's your thought?
I mean, I like what I see so far. I think they're winning games that they wouldn't have won last year. A couple times they win these close ones that they're able to pull out that last year we lost as a result of poor clock management or whatever. I think the offensive line is doing better than last year, given Eli protection. It might not be doing great with run protection we talked about, but and for giving Eli enough time to target these receivers that he now has, I think not only is Odell having another great year, but we're getting what we needed out of Victor Cruz. We're not getting 2011 Victor Cruz, of course, but we're getting a solid, third wide out, coming out of the slot nicely. I think Sterling Shepard's looked good. As a rookie, he made a lot of nice catches. Larry Hernell is doing all right.
I think Roger Lewis Jr., a guy I've been raving about.
He came out of nowhere.
I've been raving about him since summertime. We've been on top of that, man. We've been all over that since summer.
I know you have.
We've analyzed him, dissected him, microscoped him. Roger Lewis Jr. is a weapon on his team. Even if you want to go that route with DeForest, I was more for Roger Lewis.
He caught that first touchdown pass, right?
Yeah, and a lot of people think it was a blunder in the secondary. I think it's more than that. I think he ran an excellent route where he kind of almost inadvertently had the safety and the corner run into each other. That's how good the route was. That made those two defenders run into each other, made it look like a broken play. And that's the second time out of 3 games he's caught a touchdown where he utilized and he made the corner and the safety make them think twice. That's not a mistake. That's actually by design, and that's why I was so big on him in the coming out of college.
I feel like I didn't know a lot about him. I know you guys were talking about him. I'm looking forward to seeing more from him. Hopefully, getting more snaps.
Yeah, we are not to knock on, not to jinx us, but we are a premium at wide receiver. I hope I don't jinx this when I do that.
I know, absolutely, and you can't jinx the truth. That's they got a solid setup there.
We got next? Oh yeah, next Monday night.
I think next Monday night we got Monday night, right? Bengals on Monday night.
Post-game show versus the Bengals. Post-game versus the Bengals. I know I never really was a fan of these Monday night games.
I think the passing game is also benefits from a guy like Rashad Jennings, who's a good receiving running back, and he's no Shane Vereen, but I think he's solid.
They got to go to Paul Perkins, man. He's ready to roll, man. Paul Perkins. He's not probably not.
I was going to say he had a great game yesterday. He's one of those
he was really good
runners.
coming out of college. Yeah, but he was really good coming out of college. It's just that he can't pass block yet. You know, that's what Jennings
he's a
is.
small guy.
Jennings is.
He's not. He's small, right?
Yeah.
I think he's pretty small. What? I bet he's not even 6 feet tall.
Yeah.
I mean, it's tough. You got these linebackers coming off the edge. That's scary. You know, these 285-pound linebackers coming around the corner. It's tough to block if you're a small guy like Paul Perkins.
Yeah, exactly, man. Yo, we're about to get cut off. Can tell everybody how they can find your articles and content for New York Yankees Talk, sir.
Yeah, you can check me out on Facebook at New York Yankees Talk. You got pitchers and catchers reporting February 13th, only 4 months
already
away.
on it, right after the Super
For 3
Bowl,
months.
baby.
3 months.
The countdown continues, baby. The countdown is underway already. He's already got it already made, man. New York Yankees Talk, Kenny D, man. The Bleed Blue Show, Bluesday recap, a little bit of World Series, boxing, college football. Got some Giants in there, some Knicks. Oh, man, we got a little bit of Rangers, too. I can't wait to talk Rangers as well. You know, they're on a nice little hot streak right now. Woo, the Rangers. But we're out of time, Kenny. You already know we do Bleed Blue. Subscribe to the show, guys. Subscribe. Get to hear the great fans talk.
Can you dig it? Can you dig it? Can you dig it?
Bleed blue, 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 bleed blue.
When you don't go to Geico.com, car insurance can seem intense. Like breakup R&B intense.
I thought you said you loved the sweater that I got you. If you didn't, you could have told me.
Geico makes it easy. Just go to Geico.com anytime to update or check your policy without all the extra drama.
I even had a gift receipt.